calls. Cops spent $5,000 investigating these calls. They were frantic to trace them down, and they finally did, to a Tucson home where they found two sisters, ages 9 and 11. The sisters admitted making the prank calls. Nobody knows why they decided to do that. Now, even though these girls are just 9 and 11, they were arrested on suspicion of false reporting to authorities and taken to the juvenile jail. Oh, should they be prosecuted? What do you think? Call me 1-877-JVM says. That's 1-877-586-7297. Straight out to former prosecutor Wendy Murphy. Wendy, they're 9 and 11 years old. They should be reprimanded. They should not be allowed to use cell phones for a very long time. But prosecuted, they're 9 and 11.
No, I mean, of course they're not going to be prosecuted. I don't think that's a serious risk. But I'll tell you why I think it's terrific that they've been taken into custody. And I suspect this is why law enforcement did it. Separate them from their family so they can ask them the really important questions. Did someone put you up to this? Because maybe it isn't just a child's prank. And what I worry about in a case like this is that someone has an interest in distracting the public into thinking that Isabel is still out there somewhere, and which could create false leads, a waste of resources, this sort of red herring strategy that ultimately might even help the real perpetrator if this case gets to trial. And, the jury is thinking, well, what about that 911 call where the girl called and said it was really her? Oh, reasonable doubt. So I worry that someone put these kids up to this, and that's why I'm glad they've been taken into custody. And I hope they're asking them questions about their well-being. Who do they know? Are they connected in any way to Isabel's family or friends? What's the backstory here?
I don't have such a conspiratorial theory. My theory is, and by the way, prosecutors are reportedly deciding this week whether charges will be filed against the 9 and 11-year-old sisters. My theory is, and I'm going to go to forensic psychologist Cheryl Errett on this one, they're kids. They've been hearing about this in the news. Their imaginations are running wild. When I was 9 and 11, I was sailing down the cross current down the Contee River, which was my hallway. I was in a barge, which was my father's shirt box. They don't know the difference between fiction and reality. They're 9 and 11, Cheryl.
You know something, Jane? The very first phone call one of my children made when she was almost 1 was to 911 by mistake. And the police came, and they forgave her. She was a little baby. But I have to tell you, kids, they do play. They have imaginations. They can be doing this because they want to see what will happen. They can be doing it because they want to engage in a dramatic play. But I think Wendy's also making a very good point, because sometimes kids play act things that mirror something that might be going on in their lives. So whether it's someone putting them up to it or whether there is something going on in their lives that they are trying to have some sort of a call for help, those things really should be ruled out in order to look at this as kids playing and just making an example that this isn't the way to play because of what it does for their